Alright, let's keep on with these model reviews. We are on to the Bayou Smuggler for this video. Alright, he's a merc. He's not a gremlin. Interesting. 6 soul stones. I don't know how I feel about him being a merc. Uh, the whole merc system in this game, I don't really love. Um, I do think there's a little bit too much cross-faction stuff going on. I don't know why it bugs me. Just sometimes it does. I think it makes playtesting harder because you have to worry about every model that is a beast because Marcus might be able to take it. You have to worry about every model that's a construct or an undead because Levy might be able to take it. You have to worry about every willpower 4 or less living model because Zoraida can take it, right? So every time you build a model with any of those characteristics, or even Swamp Fiends to some extent, right? Every time you build a model with those characteristics, you have to make sure not only does it balance in its own faction, but then every other faction. And then the minute you put a merc tag on somebody, you got to make sure that also balances in every other faction. And it just, I don't know. It's whatever. Mercs have never been my thing, but I don't use them much in Gremlins because I don't like paying the extra stone for everything. I wish you could get like the first merc free or something, but maybe that would create too powerful of things. Maybe it would suck. Never mind, forget it. Anyway, back to the Bayou Smuggler. He's a merc, but he's not a gremlin. Means he can't be healed. He can't use the rams from Summer. Can't be healed by a slot baller. So he doesn't have much going on in his card. 5/5, 7, 5/6. It's been pretty height 2. It's been pretty basic. A lot of the gremlins have been getting around 7 wounds, 5 defense. Willpower's low again. He's a easier to kill Bert. After Smalls completes a walk action, it may push any enemy scheme markers came into base contact with during the walk action into base contact. It's not bad. It's a push. I've never seen a marker be pushed. It's usually placed. Um, yeah, okay. It's interesting that it's only enemies. It'd be cool if it could be all scheme markers. Why can't he move his own? Maybe that'd be too powerful. The fact that it's a push and not a place, obviously, I guess it makes some sense. But you can mess up some enemies. But I mean, you only walk 5 with 2 AP, so and he has to be near the enemy scheme marker. So it can be useful. Can mess up like hidden trap pretty easily, or not hidden trap. Uh, the one in the middle. Search the runes. Barter economy. After using a soulstone to draw additional cards during the draw phase, you may discard additional cards to gain soul. Basically, you pay a card to get your soulstone back. I in of itself, it's a great ability. I mean, you stone because there's nothing. It's just a May, right? So if you draw a hand of 6 really high cards, you don't discard. You say, all right, it's worth a soulstone. If at the end of discarding your normal hand, you have a 1 of tomes and you have no use for it, discard and get a soulstone back. Sounds great to me. It's a really nice ability. Probably his best ability. Buy low, sell high. If this model is in a duel with enemy model that cheats fate, draw a card after resolving the card. And luckily, it's an enemy model. Or else it'd be ridiculous because you could always hit him with buy you 2 cards, right? Because you wouldn't actually be cycling your own deck. You would just buy you 2 card everything. Um, yeah, it's a nice ability. I guess his front of his card is solid in the sense that he has some of the more cool and useful like abilities, in my opinion. Of the new models, I really love his abilities on the front of his card. I think they are a little unique, but at the same time, they'll come up without being like overpowered. I think that used to be like the other models. I mean, like Big Brand has like some crazy ones in the front that I'm like, this is very situational. Like, I don't think it's going to be good. I like his front. He always got 2 things going on in the back. He has a melee 5, 3-inch range, reach 2, 3, 4, with a mass trigger to push this model 3 inches in a direction. Alright. I mean, it's great because it's 3-inch melee. That's really what's useful. You can tie things up. He can't take a hit. Let's see. Up Sheets Creek 5. So on a 5, he can discard all corpse scrap and scheme markers within range, and he discards the cards for each one. And if you have a ram, you can choose one of the 3 types, and you get rid of those without discarding cards. So, range is a little small, same as Wong's. I mean, it's probably a fair range, right? The fact that you gotta discard cards if you don't have a ram is a little annoying, but if end of the turn, it might be worth it just to get the things out of there. Sorry. The problem is I have with it, one, I do think given its range and his like general like crappiness as far as like defenses, that may in a reckless, which is fine. I'm not gonna. I've said this for every model. They don't have reckless. Shit happens. He might not even be that. Oh, he'd be okay with reckless. I think this should maybe be a 0. Maybe increase the TN to 11 or 12. Because the fact is, you still gotta discard cards if you don't have the RAM to get rid of things. So, is it too powerful as a 0? I don't know. It might be too powerful as a 0. Maybe if you increase the TN a little bit, it becomes a little harder. Kind of like Wong's thing. Except Wong's thing does damage when it does it, and it's a 9. And it's a 0. But the fact that you can't move fast enough with this guy to, I think, make this ability great. I just don't know what he's doing. Like, let's say. So, I guess I'm gonna think of this. I guess it was my argument, like, against Fingers. Like, I know he's not Fingers, but one argument I had against Fingers was he doesn't do any damage, he's a lot of stones. What does he do, right? If the enemy's not dropping scheme markers, what do you use Fingers for? Well, Fingers, you only take him in a pool that they're going to drop scheme markers, I guess, if the schemes are right. And then he can deny and do, like, strats pretty well. Like Stick of Claim and Squatters. This guy doesn't stop any of that. It really depends on you dropping scheme markers in a very small range. Let me think. Fingers is reckless, move 6 with I think it's a 4-inch flip with no cards needed. I don't know why I'm comparing to him so much, but like that's all I see. It's like, what is this model's purpose in a crew? If the enemy doesn't drop any scheme markers and doesn't do, and even corpses, I mean, yeah, I guess it's nice against like a Riva type. But are you going to get him up fast enough? Like, they're scrap removal and corpse removal, right? We all say it's pretty nice if you can get it off against like a Ramos or a Riva or somebody that really uses a lot of scrap. And maybe I just haven't been playing crews that use a ton of corpse and scraps. And I mean, Nico's always going to use corpses, and it's just that's and Riva too. But I don't know if like my plan should be investing 6 stones into a possible get rid of them in 3-inch bubble, because they usually have corpses everywhere. It's not like this concentrate. Like I don't find that kind of removal, at least myself and currently, to be like amazing. And maybe I don't know. Maybe it just hasn't. Maybe it is good. It feels cool in your head to like remove them, but I played so many games without having to remove any markers like that it makes me wonder why I need this guy to do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like an ability that's like amazing when it works. It's like, wow, I ruined their whole schemes because I destroyed all their search their runes with this guy. But if he makes it that long, I mean, he really is like stupidly easy to kill. Damn, 5 defense, 7 wounds, no triggers or anything. Damn. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, guys. He doesn't. He feel like he'd be unfair at 5, but yeah, because of 3-inch man, he'd be unfair at 5. I don't think anyone's gonna hire this guy for 7. Like, tell me if I'm wrong, but who would hire this guy for 7 stones? Would anybody? I mean, maybe you guys out there, because if you're not going to use his up Sheets Creek, you have a 3-inch melee, 2, 3, 4 damage, and then a couple good front of the card things. Probably the best being the barter economy, right? But it's not worth the barter economy, in my opinion, just to get us to ditch a card for a soulstone, or at least it doesn't feel that good for me. Maybe for somebody was talking about Neverborn to me about it, because you can, your hand's so big, or Nelly. I mean, maybe Nelly for free, since she's already getting 7 cards, so she can afford the card and get the stone back. Um, maybe. I just don't know why I would put him in my crew. Like, when is the scenario? And thinking of a gremlin perspective, because we're gremlins. Like, when is it that you put this guy over Maris? That's probably my example of when do you say this is the guy over Maris? Because I think Maris is a similar, doesn't do much damage. I mean, she does 3 burning, which can be really good. At the same, this guy is he's not a big damage dealer. Yeah, he's melee 5 and he does good damage. He more ties up people. Maris has a lot of ski marker stuff. This guy messes with the enemy more, as opposed to Maris, who puts down your own better. But she is reckless, so she can mess with enemies. You could say barter economy is not the same, but Maris has an ability where you basically can draw 2 cards and discard, put 3 on top. So it's kind of the same outcome as, except just after you can stone and do it. In that case, I mean, there is some benefits there. The cheat thing. I mean, if people are cheating against you, you might just be fucking dead. I mean, like I said, you are not hard to kill. Same with Maris. She's not hard to kill either, but she flies. Like, this guy isn't like a scheme runner. He's not. Maybe like maybe you could use him to the side, and he seems like a disruptor that we have better disrupt. I mean, Trixie can do his ability for her 0, and she places, so it's probably even better instead of a push. Now you have to. It's not walking over. You'd have to stop on it and then 0 it and then move it. So she's better there. Wong can do his 1 tactile action, but like I said, like I don't feel like that is not something that we've been like. It doesn't feel like I need that ability. It doesn't feel that good. And the fact that even if you do get it off perfectly, like the perfect scenario would be you have a ram in the middle of a bunch of scheme markers or corpse, and you just discard them all. But if it's like a mix of everything, is it worth like discarding cards to discard some? I mean, it's very situational, right? If Ramos only has 3 scrap markers on the field and they're all in a bunch and you destroy them all somehow, then that seems great. But you could also just take other, like, it never feels like it's going to get the job done fully. If there's 5 scrap markers on the field that he can summon off of, and you just destroy 3, have you really done anything to him? Maybe just semi-limited where he can put the spiders. But is that worth it? Why not? There's a point where there's so many corpse or scrap markers that you just accept that they're there and it's going to happen. Same with Nico. Unless you're like running up, you can't even do it. Like, you can't go far enough forward to like destroy the markers early, right? He's going to get his summons off early, and then things are dying all over the place. Same with Ramos. You're not going to get this guy far enough up the board, turn 1, to destroy the first 2 scrap markers. And even if you do, you're going to die and lose 6 stones. He can't be healed by your shit, so that sucks. It's just, I don't know. Could he be 5 stones? I don't want to make him ridiculous. Could he be 5? I think, would he be too good if his thing was a 0? I think a 0 with a higher TN would be better. because he doesn't have anything else. Like, he has to walk. Walking 5 inches, it's just, he doesn't seem like he's going to have the threat range to destroy markers when he needs to. Because, I mean, it's a short range. He's not going to have the threat range to destroy markers when he needs to without, like, dying before he gets there, if it's, like, that important. Again, let me know how he does in playtesting. I will probably try to playtest after ITC next week, but he's not high on my list. I don't know where I would put him in. This is the hardest part with these playtests, is if you told me to take this model in a list, I'm like at a loss for where I'd be like, this is the one I want. This is where I'd take him. All right. Well, that's the Bayou Smuggler. That's stay tuned for the rest of them.